If you can triple your email list growth rate after watching this video, you are going to triple the amount of people that are going into your email marketing systems, and therefore you give yourself a really good chance at tripling that revenue. But it all starts right here at the top of the funnel. So the more people that we can get from your website out here to join into the email list, the better. Because in here, they're on your email list, meaning you have a great opportunity to educate them, handle their objections, and tell them what they need to know in order to buy. Now, in order to help you do this at a very high rate, we are going to be talking about two core things. But before I get into number one, I need to clarify the best way that you're going to be able to get people from your website up here to the email list is using something called an opt-in form. So the opt-in form is something that pops up on your website, and the way it pops up, the timing that it pops up with, these are all variables that we can test. But the overall idea of an opt-in form is that we're giving them some type of offer or lead magnet in exchange for their contact information. So right off the bat, do not make the mistake that small businesses make and just ask for people's email addresses or phone numbers without giving any sort of offer, lead magnet, or resource or anything. That's the perfect way to get 0 people to join your email list, and you will not triple your list growth by doing that. So the first thing that we're gonna be talking about here is the elements of a high converting opt-in form. And then we're gonna talk about how to implement this properly and get super practical. So starting with the elements of an opt-in form. There are 4 main things we wanna consider here. Number 1 is gonna be the offer. Number 2 is going to be steps/timing/targeting. Number 3 is going to be copy. And number 4 is going to be the design/layout. So let's start with the offer. So there are a lot of different offers or offer types that you can run in an opt-in form. The most common ones you'll see is like a percentage off. So it's usually like 10% off, 15% off your first order. One important thing to keep in mind here is that a lot of brands and businesses in general that I'll see will do a percentage off only if you make a minimum purchase of like, $100, $200. But the issue with that is that you're requiring them to make their first purchase a really high purchase that they're probably not going to be comfortable with. So by nature, because this is trying to get them in the door to make their first purchase, you're kind of making it harder on them. Because most people aren't going to want to do some big investment with you right away. I mean, they just found out about your business. Now, another thing you can test here is a dollar off amount. We ran tests where we'll take like a 10% off opt-in form, and then whatever the AOV is, like for example, let's say it's a $100 AOV on the website, 10% of that $100 AOV would also be $10 off. So we test $10 off versus percentage off. Depending on how your AOV varies, that test will be different. You can also test giveaway offers here. Now, if it makes sense for your business, you can do a free resource or a PDF or a guide or just any type of little info product or ebook or whatever it is that you're doing that your specific audience would find valuable by just seeing it on a pop-up form. You can also do a free gift with purchase. So like if you have some little items, like sometimes it'll be like a sock or like a wristband or a bracelet or something like that, that you can toss in with their first order, that's a good thing to run here as well. Another thing we've seen work really well is free shipping. People hate paying for shipping, so it's great to give that for free in this pop-up form if it makes sense for your business specifically. And then lastly, you can get creative with it. One example here that I saw recently that I really liked was the pop-up form offer literally said, we're refunding 1 out of every 10 orders for the next 24 hours out of anyone that joins our email list. So if you join the email list and then you make your purchase, you have a 10% chance that they're going to refund your order. Now, not completely sure how legal it is, but it looked pretty cool. It stands out. Now, the thing you want to ask yourself when you're deciding what offer you want to run here is, what am I willing to give away in exchange to get them on our email list? We know through data that people on the email list buy more often, buy more frequently, spend more when they buy, and they buy longer into the future. So because we know our numbers, we know what we can give away in order to get them on our email list. Now let's talk about the steps, the timing, and the targeting. So in terms of timing, we've almost always found that the quicker it is, at least as long as it's like 5 to 8 seconds, the quicker it is, the better. So like my ideal recommendation here, and again, this is gonna kind of differ based on what you sell and like what's available on your website, but typically like 5 to 15 seconds seems to be the sweet spot here. Now, steps is absolutely crucial because typically what most brands will go with is the email to SMS step to success page. However, surprisingly, we've tested and it's done well, a micro commitment, which then goes to email, which then goes to SMS, and then to success page. So let me pull up an example of a micro commitment. So this right here that you just saw pop up, that's a micro commit. It's saying you've got 10% off. To claim this, tell us, what health benefit are you seeking? So by them clicking on one of this, they're already kind of bought into getting the discount. Another way you can do this is, do you want the code, yes or no? With this one, we got a little bit more creative. So after I click stress relief, now I'm on the email step, and then I would enter my email and continue on from there. All right, so next up, we're gonna be talking about the copy. Do not overcomplicate the copy. The copy simply just needs to be clear and concise. You want to clearly present what the offer is, and it should be very obvious without them having to figure it all out. Clearly convey the offer, do it as concise as possible, because you have to remember here, you're interrupting their shopping experience with this form. So you don't want to make them read a lot of words in order to actually get the offer. You want to just make it very clear. And then you can probably guess the design and layout is pretty much the same thing. It should be very clear. The design is just there to capture their attention. Sometimes an image like that one that I just showed you earlier, that image just kind of grabs people's attention. And overall, you just want a nice, clean form. So that kind of brings me into the next point here. But we want our forms to look nice. It should be visually appealing, essentially. Which brings me into point 2, which is how to implement all of this. So I want to give a quick shout out to the guys over at Alia. We've been using them for a lot of our recent client pop-up forms. On the accounts we've tested this, we've doubled the opt-in rate, which has been amazing to see. And the Alia platform just gives you so much accessibility and such a great design and layout that it's almost a no-brainer that you should be using this for all of your pop-ups. They are not sponsoring this video. I only recommend them because we use them and because they get us great results. So if you do want to try Alia out, I have an affiliate link that's going to be in the description of this video. It'll be, I believe, the second link in the description. It'll be in there. Yes, obviously I get a small kickback when you sign up through my affiliate link, but again, I only recommend this because it's working for us and it's getting our clients good results. Now, if you don't want to use Alia, here's your other option. You can set this form up in Klaviyo. So now we are in a Klaviyo test account, and I'm going to show you how I would go about building out this form. So first, you just want to go to sign up forms in this left tab and then click on create form. It's going to show you some templates. Some of these are decent, some of these are not. We'll just go with this one. You can name it whatever you want to name it and then choose a list for it to submit to. Now this is the actual form builder. Let me just show you kind of how this all works. So in the top here, you can see the different steps that we talked about earlier. So this is your teaser, meaning if they close the form, it just goes down to just this teaser that they can click on and pull it back up. This is the micro commitment. This is the email step. This is the SMS step. And then they give you the option to add any steps here that you might want to add. And then this is the success page. So what you have on the left here are styles. For example, you can choose the form type. Like you can have a flyout where it just comes in on the side like that. You can have a pop-up, which is pretty common, where it just pops up in the middle of the screen. Or you can do full page, which is what we've been testing a lot lately, where it takes up their full page. And then for alternate situations where you just need to embed it on a landing page or something, you can choose an embed. And then you can even do a banner as well, where it kind of pulls up like a banner. And then whether it's images, sizing, like visibility on desktop or mobile, you just have a lot of options here within this styles tab with colors, fonts, everything. Now, in terms of targeting and behavior, this is where you're going to choose the rules that allow certain people to see this form and certain people to not see this form. So first things first, you're going to see show form. You can choose the rules. So it can either show immediately based on rules or on a custom trigger. Based on rules is going to be most common. So you'll have something like this, like after 5 seconds. We might turn off when visitors exiting the page. We might turn off like if they've scrolled a certain amount, so it's just based on the time, for example. If you want to get technical, you can set up a custom trigger to trigger the pop-up form. And then in terms of the targeting over here, we almost always have this checked where we don't want the form to show to existing Klaviyo profiles. That way, all the people that are already on your email list and are browsing on the website don't keep getting the pop-up over and over. Also, if you have certain landing pages that you might be sending traffic to that you don't want the pop-up form to show on, you can not show it on certain URLs by checking this and then just doing like /URL, whatever your URL is for that certain instance. Now, lastly, you have blocks here. So these are going to be your text blocks, any buttons, images, timers that you want to run, coupons, whatever it is. Input fields like email, text, whatever. This is where you're going to drag all this in. You'll simply grab this, drag it in, and now it's there. So yeah, this is where you build this thing out, and this is where you get it live. All right, so I hope this gave you some ideas and some guidance to triple your email list growth rate. Now, the next step after this is actually building emails that are going to convert people into buyers. So if you want to use AI to help you do that, the first link in the description is going to be our AI plug and play prompt guide. So everything from angle creation to copywriting to design assets for emails. That guide is very plug and play, very easy to use. It's going to be the top link in the description. You can grab that completely free. And popping up on the screen right here is a full course on everything email and SMS. Hope you find that valuable. Any questions, drop them in the comments. At the very least, drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.